You should see the little red dot going.
Yep, we do. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
All right, we'll go. We'll start off with approval of the last meeting minutes, and Chief Haley is not here today to provide those, so we'll have to table that until next time. That'll take us to reports. Director Hicks.
Good afternoon. Things are going well. I still have 4 trainees in training. We've made some position swaps, so we're starting to get them trained out on new positions, which is encouraging. They're picking up quite well, and they're all liking the schedule changes as well, so I think we might be exploring this as a more permanent solution.
Sorry about that, folks.
If you stay on 12s, will that change how many dispatchers you need to have full time, or?
No, I'd still like to have at least 4 at all times. It gets really hectic in there. It was hectic in there when I walked out. I'm coming over here with just 3, so I would need to have at least 4, and it really wouldn't hurt to have 5 sometimes.
How many staff do you have to have 4?
It would be 16, so we have enough with 18 to do 4. You'll have 8 on a rotation, 3 on, 3 off.
You said before you'd be able to do the 80-hour.
If they when they're working the 12s, if they're scheduled off on Monday, they work 36 hours instead of 40. So they're either short 4 hours on their time card, which is all they get paid for, or they use 4 hours of comp time, vacation time, personal time to make up for that, or they come in and work 4 hours. I'm not forcing anybody to come in and work on their day off or stay over or do anything. If they want to come in, they can. If they want to use personal time, they can. Or if they just want to be short, that's their prerogative.
How's morale with that schedule?
The morale, they love it. I've not had any complaints about it. So
Since doing that, things have turned around for the better from where it was at.
oh yeah.
All right, any other questions for Kevin? So tower project update. We did have a tech committee meeting today at noon. Gerald, did you take notes or?
Projected, we got some still power issues at the Riddle site, which is out here on State Road 18 West. Shelter is supposed to be delivered on the 18th. Anticipated that to get the towers completely up at all 3 sites, and he thinks the towers will be stacked in March and antennas placed in April. Once they get the tower, the steel there, they can put them together on the ground within 2 days, and then have a 3rd day to stack at each site. So that's how long it's very quick once they get the steel there and able to get it going. And going on into our tech committee update, on the FAT test is scheduled for February 21st at 9 o'clock in the morning. We want a representative from the Sheriff's Department, the Police Department, a fire representative, to be there at that FAT test to basically give us any input on what needs to be done or what needs to be changed.
Yeah, that fire rep probably should be a city and a county, so if you got somebody you want to send me that. Brad wasn't there today, so I'm not sure if he's the guy or however you want to do that, but that'll be up to JK's. Brad Daly, just for your information too, if you can make that date and represent the county fire, that testing will take place on the 21st.
He said it would take probably about 2 hours, max 3. And they are wanting to make it that the Ballinger site is the one that is the first one done. That's all I got there.
Yeah, currently, the Ballinger site is the only one that has everything. It is,
Yes.
it is ready to go. for
Yes.
steel. So, we did have some discussion too about licensing. There's still some issues, I think, with the 700 megahertz. So we're gonna be in contact with some state folks and try to push from our end. We feel like it's better coming from us than rather than the pyramid.
And Kevin, I asked you, you must not have seen it. Todd Durnell was asking if there is any changes in 700 because it's under your name, you would get notification.
I haven't gotten any notifications if
Okay.
it came from APCO or from the FCC.
Okay, so that is an indication to us that nothing has been changed, and we've been dealing with this for about 9 months now. We know that some representatives of APCO kind of was dragging their feet. And so now it's time to just, we got to push.
I would recommend reaching out to Madison County.
That was Todd's suggestion.
I believe the director at Madison is the president of Indiana APCO.
That's what Todd said.
Yeah, so he's gonna try to set that up next week. I told him to let you and I know. There again, not that we don't trust anybody, but if we don't push our own agenda, it doesn't get pushed, it seems like, so. That should happen next week. If not, we'll go around, get through them, over them, whatever it takes. Anything else, Daryl?
No.
Let's look at my notes. So, a couple things. Fiber to the sites we're still working on. I know Marcus has some figures for the commissioners. We'll have to get that done yet, and templates. Is there anything you need from this group for templates?
Not right now, though. Marcus said something about sending some things through on the fiber stuff too. Can you get with him and see maybe he needs something different about the fiber? Because evidently it's been sent twice to somebody and with no response.
At AT&T or?
I believe within county.
We'll follow up, see what that is with the commissioners. I think that's where Marcus was
Yeah,
sending it.
yeah, that's where it's at. It's in the commissioner's lab.
Okay.
The other two things we talked about is the comm plan and the ordinance, which is on the next items on the agenda. So any other questions for the tech committee? Before we move forward. Okay, so the comm plan, I did send out, hopefully I hit everybody on the board with comm plans, the old comm plan. We're currently working through, I think we're about, after today's meeting, we're about halfway through updating that. So if you have suggestions for that plan, by all means, let us know. We'll get that added to it. I want to make sure that before I bring it to the board, we've done as much of the homework as we can do, and then we'll have the board pick it apart and see what we have to fix from there. But that plan needed quite a bit of updating. I think it was last done in 2016, so we didn't even have a central dispatch at that time. So we're working through that. We'll bring that along with ordinance for the, we actually had 2 ordinances proposed. The thinking after today's meeting is we're going to try to combine that into one purchase and programming ordinance for the county to adopt, so that any radios, new radios that are purchased to go onto our system will meet the criteria set by this board, along with the programming part of that too. So I mean, probably I want to have some input into particularly the programming side of that. But there again, same thing. Before we have multiple discussions here on something that's halfway done, we'll get it where it's presentable, and then we'll bring it to the board. But by all means, I will send you what we have. In fact, I may do that anyway, just so you see where we are, what we're working through. Give you an opportunity to chime in, so. Any questions, comments? Okay. New business. You've got a policy for us, Kevin?
Yes, sir. You guys should have all received a draft policy of, policy number 64, pertaining to social media. The area highlighted in orange is what I am addressing specifically. There have been several posts that have been made that pertain across several different social media platforms. And just to kind of nip that in the bud, I'd like to do this policy to put a stop to that. There's currently nothing on the books to address posting into social media from inside the comm center.
So this policy number, 064, and I didn't get a chance to go back and look. Are we following the same numbering system that is already in place?
I believe so. Because this is one that he already had drafted up.
Okay.
I just added the highlighted sections to address the specific needs for the policy.
Okay. So does anybody have questions or comments regarding this policy?
Just think it's a great policy, to be put in.
So with that, if there are no objections or somebody wants to make a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, motion by Chief David, second by Captain Haley. Any other comments?
Should that policy, this is after, not include post that someone would make with knowledge, inherent knowledge, firsthand knowledge of incidents?
So if a dispatcher is working, has information about a case, is off time or in personal time, and make a post about the
Or if
incident,
somebody, which you often see, people will question other people that should have firsthand knowledge of what was going on as to what happened, what's going on.
and I don't know if it's a written policy or not, but I have stated several times that my staff is not to release any information about any cases pertaining to the reports that we have. If it needs to be a written policy, we can do that.
I would, just in case you ever come across a problem.
Well, not necessarily to deter them from doing it, but giving them an out. Hey, I'm not allowed to comment on that
Because we have a policy.
because we have a policy. Which actually it protects them from people posting or calling in or emailing and wanting, hey, what's going on? What did you know?
Yeah, I had to send out an email today after receiving a call from the city of Marion about some information that was put out. So it's there. They know they're not supposed to. But yeah, I can work on a written policy.
You want to include that into this policy, or you would want it to be a separate standalone?
I would make it separate because the posts that I've seen have been done inside, but they haven't been work related.
Okay. And honestly, you could probably broaden that a little bit to include maybe some other behaviors. Okay. So we have a motion on the floor with a second. Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Policy is adopted.
It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
That will be put in a book and I assume published to the dispatchers.
Yep.
Very good. That is all we have on the agenda, although I do want to make a comment and somewhat maybe of an apology or whatever, but so last meeting we did discuss about reaching out to the other municipalities in the county, the towns and cities, and I think all the cities are represented. Really didn't do that until today, and that's my fault. I'll take the heat for that. But Amanda did send out to all the people that we have contact emails for in the cities and towns to advise them that this meeting happens monthly and that they really are encouraged to attend so that they know what's going on and don't have to get their information secondhand. So late notice on that, we apologize, but moving forward, hopefully we'll have more participation, or at least some more folks representing the towns from the different county, or different towns in the county on board.
And if at any time anybody has an agenda item, just let me know and I'll get it put on.
And this meeting is public.
It
This
is.
is a public meeting.
Right.
Yep. So if you know some folks, or you get questioned, particularly by elected officials, by all means, encourage them to log in.
Is the tech committee also a public
It
meeting?
is not. It is not.
We need to address the vacancy by the death of Virgil, or have we?
We did, actually with Brad Daly, he was president of Grant County Mutual Aid. So the way that it's spelled out in the ordinance is that Grant County Mutual Aid basically has an election within that body. They pick a representative and send that name to the commissioners. The commissioners approve it and appoint that person. So that has to happen there. Any questions on that, Brad? You clear on that part?
Yeah, I'm clear. Like we discussed this morning, we'll work through that tomorrow night.
Very good. Yeah, they actually meet tomorrow night, so that's fine. And we do have some other seats on the board, at least one other I know we need to try to get filled too, so. All right. Anybody else have new business? Hospital doing good, Patrick?
Yeah. We got an open bed or two.
I'm doing better then.
That's an improvement for sure.
That is an improvement.
Yeah. All right. Richard Dollar, do you have anything for us? Or did we put you to sleep?
Hope we're good.
All right, we appreciate you. That is all I have. I take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? All
Aye.
right, we are in recess.
Man, Kevin, that one was painless, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This meeting was painless.
It's good for me to make you look presented when you don't.